Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Here is your tarot reading for the week ahead. When I laid down your cards, I literally laughed out loud because it's almost identical to the reading that I gave Scorpio. Not exactly the same cards, bizarrely, but pretty much we've got, yeah, almost exactly the same message coming through. Each card by card has an alternative. We start with the 10 of Pentacles, the Lord of Wealth. I always see the 10 of Pentacles as almost like the final card. Arguably, that's the World card, which appeared in Scorpio's reading, or the King of Pentacles, because they're arguably the last of the major arcana and the minor arcana. But the 10 of Pentacles is certainly up there. He's the card of completion, is what I'm trying to say in a long-winded way. Particularly as 10 is the card of finality, endings, but also Pentacles is what is manifest, what's gone from the abstract to the real. So the fact that you have that combination here talks about things really being to the point of completion. Your challenge now, as is the theme that is coming up again and again and again for almost all of the star signs this week, and a lot of this is born out of the fact that we have the new moon in Aquarius. Partly it's raising kind of feelings within people that won't be necessarily comfortable. But for you, Pisces, because you're literally a fish in water, not out of water, but a fish in water when it comes to the emotional realms, the emotions often associated with the element of water. That's probably going to be a lot less jarring for you than it is for most. There's a couple of star signs where I said it was Aquarius, where I said you may be looking on your fellow workers, friends, family, and just thinking, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you? Why are you feeling so panicked? Why are you looking so perturbed?" So that just a gentle reminder that I said to Aquarius that I'll say to you is the more that we can treat others with compassion and understanding where they may be having a bit of crisis, the better. To go back for a moment with this theme of letting go and moving forward, this is represented for you with the 6 of Swords, the Lord of earns success or success earned. So that perfectly combines with that 10 of Pentacles energy where you have earned a lot of success. You've done really well. I don't know why I want to say this, but there's a feeling that you may have just had your head down for a while and you've slightly slipped under the radar, but in a good way. You've been able to avoid some of the cross hairs or the crossfire that's going on with situations around you, and you think, okay, I'm just going to kind of pretend none of this is going on and just keep my head down and just plow on with what I need to do. And that has enabled you not only to circumnavigate dramas, but also just get on with what you've needed to get on with. So it's really, really exciting. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of crossover between your reading and Scorpio. The reason that this plays out too is because I'd said to Scorpio, you may find that this week represents the closing of one door and the opening of another. For some star signs, that's felt quite jarring, and that their processes have been interrupted prematurely or unnecessarily. But for you, Pisces, it will be expected. In many ways, anything new that is coming in won't feel like a shock to the system or a dark surprise. Indeed, many of these will feel very, very welcome. What's lovely to see is you've got the Fool card in combination with the 8 of Cups, the Lord of Abandoned Success. We literally have almost the new moon in the background, so that new moon energy is certainly playing out here. But there is a willingness with the 8 of Cups to move towards the mountainside. You can see the Fool is almost on top of the mountain, so there's a real willingness to leave the past behind, let bygones be bygones. So maybe that's resolutions around disagreements, but more so it's probably going to express itself in, I'm quite happy to be done with that. I've achieved as much as I've needed to achieve. I've worked as hard as I needed to on that. I've been in that situation for as long as I particularly want, and it's not coming out of that with a sense of desperation. with necessarily a pronounced sense of relief, as perhaps Libra was seeing, but more so that it's just time. It's just time to move on. It's time to let go. And what's really lovely about that is that that's very assimilated and integrated. It's just an acceptance. There's a big degree of acceptance coming through for you, Pisces. And I really want to applaud you on that. There's not, as we've seen with a lot of fire signs, there's not this sense of fear. And sometimes letting go for people can bring about this sense of fear. But for you, Pisces, it's, yeah, it's not well overdue, but it's due. And I want to congratulate you on being able to recognize that. Very often our sense of dissatisfaction or upset arises from the fact that we probably should have moved on. Our intuition may have been telling us to move on, or we've just outstayed our welcome, or we've outgrown a scenario. But because we often mistake that we want things to stay the same, to give us that false sense of security, we hold on. But because you're so intuitive, Pisces, I feel that you've felt that coming for a little while, and this is almost your green light to now move into the next chapter. The final card that we have is the Seven of Pentacles. So you've got that's often quite an ambiguous card. He's looking at the crop, not sure what to necessarily make of it. I don't think that's going to be in an overt way this week by any means. It's not that you'll feel dissatisfied by any means, but there will just be that tipping point between, often when we finish something and start something new, we're reflecting on what we've just finished. And that might come with slightly mixed emotions. If it hasn't gone particularly well, then it's up to us to recognize the good and the things that we've learned and the experience that we've gained from it. If it has gone really well, then sometimes it can be a bit of a bittersweet moment to be moving on. But yeah, or there's sometimes with the Seven of Pentacles, he can be thinking, is that all there is? Is there, I kind of expected a little bit more. But if that is arising for you, it will be in quite a subtle way. This isn't a very pronounced way by any means. 7 is the number of endurance, so there is just a little bit of an encouragement here just to carry on. My mantra of late really has been just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And for the fishy Pisces, that seems particularly applicable mantra to be using at the moment. But on the whole, feels really, really good. You've certainly dealing with the energies that are floating around for us collectively, perhaps the best. Again, you've probably been in this headspace for a little while, so it's not going to phase you. There's no contrast, there's no juxtaposition that will be in any way jarring. If you want to know more, then please make sure that you check out your rising sign and your moon sign. If you're not sure how to do that, you can check in the pinned comments below. Please comment below what you've found interesting from this reading. Please like and subscribe, as it really encourages me to keep releasing content such as this. But until next week, have a fabulous next 7 days, and I shall see you then. Bye for now.